Good day, everyone. Our assigned topic is the Chapter 10, Creating a Positive School Culture. Before we proceed to our discussion, allow me to introduce first the Group 6 members, starting with Agayo Angelica, Galapon Juliet, Orlando Ashley Mia, Valdez Roberto Jr., and yours truly, Agaloos Fatima. Learning outcomes. At the end of this chapter, you should be able to explain the meaning of school culture, discuss how school culture affects learning, and cite ways by which you can contribute to the building of positive culture. School culture is a creation of all the people in school and in the community, especially that of the school heads. It can be positive or negative. It can facilitate or adversely affect learning. When we say school culture is the work of everyone in the school and community, notably the school leaders, it might be either good or negative. It has the potential to either help or hinder learning. Now, let's talk about what is school culture. What is this meant? School culture is one of the most complex and important concepts in education by Skane, 1985. It generally refers to the beliefs, perceptions, and relationships, attitudes, and written and unwritten rules shape and influence every aspect of how a school functions. One of the complicated and significant issues in education is school culture. It has also been among the most neglected in terms of educational improvement. According to Skane, the basic essence of an organization's culture is the deeper level of basic assumptions and beliefs that are shared by members of an organization, that operate unconsciously, and that define an organization's view of itself and its environment in a basic taken for granted fashion. This is the heart of school culture, and that is what makes it so difficult to understand and modify. Physical and emotional safety of students, the orderliness of classroom and public spaces, or the degree to which a school embraces racial, ethnic, linguistic, and cultural diversity. And that are the concrete issues of school culture. School culture is reinforced by norms, expectations, and traditions, including everything from dress codes to discipline systems to celebrations of achievement by Scott and Marzano 2014. Built through the everyday business of school life, it is the way business is handled that both forms and reflect the culture by Sophia J. 1985.
Culture as a social construct. When we say culture, we are referring to all the ways of life, including arts, belief in a certain society and institution of a population. While social construct refers to an idea that has been created, shaped, and accepted by people in society. Culture are socially constructed. It is a social construct, not a genetic construct. This means that social culture is something that we do not inherit or pass through the genes. Rather, it is something that we create and shape. In other words, culture as a social construct exists not in an objective reality but as a result of interactions among stakeholders, particularly the students, teachers, and parents. All reality, including school culture, is socially constructed. Since late 2014 elaborates, within a couple of minutes of walking into school or a classroom, you can tell, define, almost taste the culture that permits that space. It is an open, sharing environment, or it is a rigid, disciplined, defined playing field. It is safe and welcoming, or intimidating and confronting. Does it welcome all voices, or does it make you want to shrink? It is waiting for instruction or leadership, or it is self-directed within a common purpose. School culture can be felt, created, and shaped. It can be through our interactions and connections. It is something that we are not born with, but it is something that is being built along the process. School climate and social culture. When we say school climate, it refers to the school's effects on students, including teaching practices, diversity, and the relationship of administrators, teachers, parents, and students. It is driven by and reflected in daily interactions of staffs, administrations, faculty, students, support staff, and the outside community. School climate is illustrated by the attitudes and behaviors of the school staffs and is focused on the style of the school organizational system. When we say school culture, it is a deeper level of reflection of shared values, beliefs, and traditions between staff members. School culture refers to the way the teachers and other staff members work together and the set of beliefs, values, and assumptions they share. School culture is really about how do we put into place feelings and emotions and circumstances by which students and their educators feel comfortable, celebrated, alive, and good within the walls of our school. And school climate is really focused.
Role of school culture in learning. Learning is influenced by the culture of the school. It has the potential to influence how students perceive themselves and others, how they connect with one another and adults, and how they view and approach learning. A positive school culture can create a love of learning and a sense of belonging by making students feel safe and supported. On the other hand, a negative school culture can lead to disengagement, anxiety, and even aggressiveness. The values, beliefs, behaviors, and relationships of everyone in the school community, students, staff, families, and members of the wider community shape school culture. The physical environment of the school, as well as the curriculum and the pedagogy, have an impact. Everyone feels valued, respected, and supported in a positive school culture. It is characterized by open communication, mutual respect, and trust. Students feel safe taking risks, making mistakes, and learning from them in such an environment. They are also more likely to be driven and enthusiastic about their studies. Fear, intimidation, and bullying, on the other side, might characterize a poor school culture. Students may be afraid to speak up or take risks in such an environment. They may also be disinterested in their studies and less motivated to succeed.
Element of a positive culture is a norm of school culture where people and programs are improved. So first is the collegiality. First, collegiality, it is where you can be yourself. You do not need to put your best forward to impress others. Second, experimentation is the process of trying out new ideas, methods, or the activities. So we welcome mistake as part of the learning process. No teachers and no students get punished. Edison once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that would not work." That means that is okay to make mistake as long as we learn from it. So that is experimentation. And I believe that mistake, it will serve as a bridge to walk and to reach our dream in life. Third is high expectation. So set high expectations for high achievement. But according to Robert J. Manzano, there are two problems arise from the expectation. First is, expectations are subtle and difficult to change. So in here, Manzano said teachers have basis and low expectation about the students so that mind can't be changed. It needs many years of processing. Second, what actually communicate expectations to students is teacher behavior. According to Manzano, teacher's attitude is important to all of us. In having a high expectation to student, for example, after the lesson, the teachers need to update the students that tomorrow they have a short quiz. So in that case, student will be able to prepare for their coming quiz so that teachers will be able to expect high grade from the students. Number 4 is the trust and confidence. The teachers cannot educate the student that don't have confidence. Then a student cannot learn to the teachers that they don't have trust. So that is trust and confidence. Number 5, tangible support. Support comes in just in word but in action. Example of this is the school head sees to it that ICDs in a classroom are functioning. It means that teachers will continue to grow as the school wants. Then if he or she wants to learn more, there are many different ways to grow her own knowledge, and I believe that there's always room for improvement. Number 7. Appreciation and recognition. We should give support or appreciation to our fellow teachers if he or she have achievement, because we know that a simple praise that we say in our co-teachers makes them smile and happy. Then of course, if we say about recognition, good teaching is honored and recognized. Number 8 is caring, celebration, and humor. The teacher's role is not only in teaching the student, but it is important also to get their attention or trust the students in order for you to know what happening on their life. Then if the teachers have idea to help the student, it would be better to help it immediately and give some advice or motivational message to continue fight for his own challenges. Then as a teacher, we should show care, celebration, and humor, and we should not forget to laugh. Number 9 is involvement in decision making. Takes care of goal setting and so does self-discipline. The two go hand in hand and cannot be separated. Self-discipline and decision making help to save great careers for students. As a teachers, we should involve ourselves in decision making in order for us to grow. Number 10. Protection of what is important. The important matter is prioritize and protect others. Just like in school, there are canteen sellers, soft drinks, and etc. that is not healthy in the human body. Then if the customer buy it, he or she will be able to get diseases. So that we should stop selling this product. It is because the life of a person is very important.
Number 11. Traditions. A truly positive school culture is not characterized simply by the absence of gangs, violence, or discipline problem, but also by the presence of a set of norms and values that focus school communities' attention on what is important and motivate them to work hard toward a common purpose. And last, number 12, honest and open communication. The atmosphere is such that everyone is encouraged to speak his mind without fear of being ostracized. The agreement at every discussion is agree to disagree.
Moving on to the shared norms, we have here the teacher and student norms. So, shared norms for both teachers and students contribute to a positive school culture. These are the behavioral expectations or rules of the class, and these norms inform us how we are expected to behave towards each other and towards the materials we use in school. So let us first discuss the teacher norms. First is teach in different ways. Teachers can use different strategies and styles in teaching. It depends on what they think it is best for their students. The second one is call students by their names. Calling students by their names helps students to become more accountable. Also, students are more likely to behave since they know they are being seen. Number 3 is care about students' feelings, and we have here under A is understand their situation. Understanding students' feelings and situation is important to be able to steer students toward recognizing and managing emotions. Moving on to number 4, have a good attitude. We have here A, stay calm, B, use kind words, C, have patience, letter D, greet students and say goodbye. Under number 4, as a teacher, we should have a good attitude. Kahit sa mga moments na sobrang galit ka na, you need to stay calm para hindi mo masaktan yung estudyante mo. Kailangan mong gumamit ng maayos na words para disiplinahin sila. And also, you should have patience in everything. Kasi nga teacher ka, kailangan dito ng pasensya. Teachers should greet students goodbye or good morning. So number 5, help students understand A. Work at a reasonable pace. B. Explain clearly. C. Support different learning styles. Letter D. Expect the best. Letter E. Re-explain if necessary. So, teacher should show interest in own work or in getting the job done properly. Dito sa number 5, sinasabi na dapat as a teacher, they should explain clearly, lalong-lalo na sa mga activities, lessons na kanilang i-deliver sa kanilang mga estudyante. At may mga circumstances na may mga estudyanteng hindi naintindihan yung in-explain ng teacher. So, under number 5, re-explain if necessary. I-explain ulit kung kinakailangan para mas maintindihan ng estudyante. Number 6, attend school the majority of time. So, number 6, prioritizing time is necessary to effectively implement and execute the plans for educating students. So, when teachers are exhausted due to lack of personal care and time, it is possible that the classroom become less effective and efficient also. Moving on to number 7, be respectful. Letter A, give everyone what they need. B, use proper language. C, allow space if needed. Letter D, use supportive words when explaining. And letter E is call by your name. So as a teacher, kailangan maging respectful. You should give everyone what they need. And also, you should use proper language. Like, you are a teacher. So, kailangan yung lalabas sa'yo na mga salita ay karapat-dapat para sa isang estudyante. And letter C, allow space if needed. As a teacher, meron yung mga estudyante na sumosobra. So, if needed, you should allow space. Kailangan magbigay ka na ng space. And letter D, use supportive words when explaining. It allows students an opportunity to fulfill those expectations or even surpass them. And letter E is call by your name. Students calling adults by their names, this practice help us to break down unproductive barriers and to engender mutual respect between adults and students. So moving on, lastly to number 8, have a growth mindset. Teachers taking a growth mindset recognize students' hard work and the process they use to arrive at the solution. And that is the teacher norms. Let's move on to the student norms. Number 1, have a growth mindset. Letter A, believe you can improve. B, fail forward. C, keep trying. Letter D is speak positively about your abilities to learn. Under this number 1, students should have growth mindset. Kailangan magkaroon ng believe sa sarili na kaya mo at mag-i-improve ka. I-claim mo na gagaling ka, mas gagaling ka pa at mas gagalingan mo pa. Keep trying and keep improving. Moving on to number 2, call classmates by their names. Calling classmates by their names shows to build classroom community, helping each other more comfortable and also for making students more comfortable seeking help. Number 3, be responsible for your work. We have here A, have materials ready, advocate yourself, be a professional, meet deadlines. Letter E, participate. Letter F is be on time to class. As a student, kailangan mo maging responsable sa lahat ng action mo. For example, sa mga gamit mo, sa mga kakailanganin mo sa klase or report, it's your responsibility na i-ready tong mga to. You should be professional in your actions and in your words also. As a student, kailangan tapusin natin yung mga activities natin before the deadlines. We should participate also, especially in groupings, gawain sa school, sa mga activities, and especially be on time to class. Number 4, listen. We have here A, to the teacher, B, to your classmates, C, to guests, D, to the directions. First, listen to the teacher. Tayong mga estudyante, ito ang pinakatrabaho natin. Ang makinig sa ating mga guro para matuto tayo at para alam natin lahat ng activities natin at kung ano yung mga gagawin pa natin. E, listen to your classmates. Para magkaroon ng peace sa loob ng classroom, kailangan nagkakaintindihan din kayo ng mga classmate natin. Listen to guests and also to the direction para alam natin kung ano yung mga kailangan gawin at yung ginagawa natin. Moving on to number 5, attend school the majority of the time. As a student, kailangan talaga nating umattend on time sa mga klase natin. Kailangan i-meet natin yung mga oras na dapat para sa ating pag-aaral. Moving on to number 6. Be a good team player. Letter A. Provide good, helpful feedback. Sa ating mga estudyante, di natin may iwasan ng pagtatanong. So, kailangan maging responsable tayo. We should always provide good and helpful feedback to our teachers or to our classmates. Letter B. Stay calm. Letter C, encourage others. So, as a student, again, kailangan natin encourage yung iba, lalong-lalo na meron yung mga pagkakataon na may mga estudyante or classmates na tayong gustong tumigil. So, kailangan nila ng encouraging words. We should encourage others. D, stay on topic. Letter E, be considerate. Letter F, use proper language. And letter G, communicate clearly to students and teachers. Students must be able to communicate effectively. Without well-developed communication skills, children run the risk of falling behind their peers or becoming emotionally overwhelmed or withdrawn at school. And that is the student and teacher norms.
Conclusion, the educational process, teachers must not only impart information but also educate or build emotional and spiritual socio-cultural values, ways of thinking, and comprehensive ideas required in education should be embedded into educators as transformation agents. Teachers are thus viewed as experts whose major role is to counterbalance parents' naturally propensity to pamper their children as well as the unintended consequences of the one-child policy, resulting in well-behaved youngsters who benefit society.